Hi, and thank you for joining me for this session on respiratory resilience and supporting the immune system. Before I start, I'd like to thank all the amazing speakers that we've had on HealthFlix, including Satbir Khalsa, Matthew Taylor, Pat Gerbag, Goran in Sweden, Dr. Michael Dixon, and Dean Ornish. And most of all, I'd like to thank Heather Mason for her vision in creating this amazing resource for you all to enjoy. So I chose the title of this short session, which is going to be mainly breathing, either sitting in a chair, or if you prefer to sit on a yoga mat, then please do. But if you're sitting on a mat, make sure your spine is really well supported so you can breathe very freely. Now, if you have already watched Satbir's lecture on the scientific evidence for why yoga works, you'll already know that there's a mass of evidence now from well over 300 randomized control trials, which show that yoga is a highly effective way of regulating body systems and improving health. And two things we can do in these very troubling, difficult and fearful times of the coronavirus pandemic is to strengthen our breathing, our respiratory system, and also do yoga practice that really helps to balance the autonomic nervous system. Because many of us, and we can see every day on the news with our stressed NHS staff and relatives of people who are ill with the virus, that there's a lot of fear and a lot of stimulation of the sympathetic side of the nervous system, and that is causing stress. And stress is bad for the body, it's bad for your health, and it's bad for the immune system. So we're going to focus on some simple practices, some simple tools of yoga that I hope can really help you to feel that you're activating relaxation response, rebalancing the body, activating the parasympathetic side of your nervous system, which will just make you feel a lot better and help you be steady and calm and healthy in the midst of this crisis. And if you're not well, and if you're around people who are not well, it will help to nourish you through that difficult time. So we'll begin simply by placing the hands on the thighs or on the knees if you're sitting in cross-legged. And then please take your time to just settle into your posture. Make sure your spine is upright, that you have your lumbar curve, that you're not in a rounded back position. We want plenty of space at the front of the body for our breathing. And then if you're happy to close your eyes, allow your eyes to close, or just have your eyes downcast on the floor in front of you. And take a moment to settle and notice exactly how you're feeling this morning. Are you feeling well? Are you feeling unwell? Are your energy levels high or low? Are you feeling stressed or are you feeling quite relaxed? And is your mind racing or is your mind steady? And are your emotions in equilibrium, or are they just all over the place at the moment? That would be understandable. And try not to make any kind of judgment about how you're feeling right now, because that is the bit we can't control. This is our starting point. And now we will use yoga practice to bring about that transformation towards a steadier, more grounded place. So switch your attention now to your breath. And unless your nose is blocked, we're going to do all our breathing in and out through the nose, but it's really important that there's no strain on your breath. So at any time that you feel you need to breathe in or out through the mouth, if the nose is blocked, please do that. And as you breathe in and out through the nose, notice the quality and depth of your breath. Is your inhale smooth and even? Is your exhale flowing? Or is it uneven? Is there tightness in the breath or freedom in the breath? And is the breath deep or is the breath shallow? And then place your hands just on the sides of the body, just so you're right on the lower ribs, and the fingers at the front are resting on the abdomen, and keep the abdomen fairly soft here. And we're just thinking about initially breathing into this bottom third of the lungs. And as you inhale and exhale, just feel the gentle movements here of expansion as you breathe in, and the lower ribs are moving outwards slightly, and the abdomen may be moving out slightly. And as you exhale, we're not doing anything active on the exhale, just letting it go, a really relaxed, releasing breath. With this sensation of drawing the breath deep into the body to the bottom third of the lungs. And then if we try to deepen the breath a little bit further and move our hands just a tiny bit higher up the ribs, if this position is uncomfortable, then you can cross the hands just to feel the sides of the ribs here. So a little bit higher up, this is the middle part of the chest. So we're going to begin our breath down here in the abdomen, and then we're going to continue to try to lengthen that inhale. And what I'd like to invite you to notice is that this sideways movement, when you go into a deeper breath, after a little while, it gets overtaken by a lifting sensation, and you feel the ribs here beginning to lift. So down here is the diaphragm working and pushing the lower ribs out, and up here are some intercostal muscles between the ribs, which are giving you a deeper breath, lifting the chest. So now we're going to breathe in, feel the expansion, still breathing in, feeling the lifting of the rib cage now. Very passive, relaxed exhale. Rib cage is going to sink in and side ribs are going to move inwards. So try a few breaths like that, just deepening your breath. Inhale. If you close your eyes and really notice what's happening in this area of your body as you breathe in, you'll feel that distinct transition from a sideways expansion to the lift, when one big breathing muscle, the diaphragm, is then assisted. It's like a little seamless relay. The baton is passed up to the intercostal muscles, and they create lift and expansion for even more breath capacity. And then if we let the elbows relax in and place the fingertips on the collarbones, if you move your fingers up and down, you'll feel the bump of your collarbones. And when we breathe in right to our fullest comfortable maximum, the last thing that happens, we're filling the base of the lungs, the rib cage is lifting to fill a big chunk of the mid part of the lungs. And right at the top of the lungs, as we go for our fullest breath, you just feel a slight lift of the collarbones of the top of the ribs as some neck muscles engage a little bit. And this can give you the experience of your fullest breath. So this is easy, this is full, and this is fullest. So still breathing in down into the abdomen and the lower ribs, still breathing in into the chest, and then finishing your inhale with a sense of lift, of upward movement in the collarbones. And then again, a long, smooth, easy, relaxed out breath. You don't need to do anything on the out breath. Do that 2 or 3 more times, going for your fullest breath. And then we'll just finish this initial breathing practice by just knitting together those three parts of the breath. It can be a little bit bitty when we separate it like that. So we're just going to feel that there's no break, there's no interruption between moving from the different parts of the lungs as we create this large breath. And we're going to do a little hand movement to reflect what's happening in the breath. So as you breathe in, just moving the hands outwards to signal this expansion of the lower ribs. And as you continue to breathe in, moving the hands upwards to reflect the lifting of the rib cage. And as you finish your inhale, just turning the hands and pointing the fingers upwards to indicate the lifting of the collarbones. And then a smooth exhale back down. So let's do a few of those together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And just one more. Inhale. Exhale. This time, exhale, release the hands down onto the thighs or onto the knees. Close the eyes for a moment. And just notice exactly how you feel. Notice the significant change we can make in how we feel simply by connecting to our breath and cultivating that very long, deep, slow, mindful breath. So if you've still got your eyes open, blinking open the eyes, and we're going to do a little bit of movement now. So we'll give the arms a shake and then try to let the arms hang from the shoulders without any tension in them, using the arms as weights here. And we're going to inhale and take the shoulders forwards and up. And we're going to exhale and take the shoulders back and down. From the side, it very much looks like this. Inhale up and exhale back and down. And this is an opportunity for you to just feel what is happening in your shoulders. If you've got any shoulder injuries there, then be careful with that. And you might notice that the shoulders are very tense, or you might be already feeling quite relaxed, and there's a lot of easy movement here. And then next time the shoulders come down, give the arms another shake and turn the palms outwards. Bend the elbows, rest the fingers towards the top of the shoulders or wherever you can reach. And this time we're going for slightly more movement in the shoulders, but you're just going to work within your own pain-free range of movement. So breathing in, great big circle, and breathing out, back and down. And just one more of those, just making the last one your biggest comfortable circle, and then release the arms down. So we'll bring the palms together in front of the chest, and we're going to continue with this full breath that we've already been practicing so far. So as you breathe in, filling the lungs to their comfortable fullness and separating the arms, and keeping the shoulders very relaxed as you do this. And as you exhale, bringing the palms together. So we're simply mirroring the breath with the arms. This is a breath-led movement. And when we allow the breath to lead what we do, it gives our yoga practice this very steady, mindful quality. And let's just do one more of those. As you're breathing in, you're just feeling like the shoulders are dropping back and opening, and you're creating some space here as well at the front of the chest. And then relax the hands down, rest the palms on the thighs or a little bit away from the body, palms facing upwards. And this time, as we breathe in, we were coming up in thirds, so the arm movement kind of represents that filling of the lungs from the base to the top as we breathe in. And as you breathe out, turn the palms and lower the hands back down. Turn the palms ready for the next inhale. And turn the palms for your exhale. So this is another very simple practice, but the inclusion of the turning of the palms just reminds us that we need to give ourselves the space for our in-breath to fully express itself. And then the turning of the palms is the transition from inhale to exhale. One more of these. And then release the hands down. So we're going to do a little bit of opening the chest and coming into a forward fold. So I'm teaching this from a chair. If you're on a yoga mat, then you will want to stretch the legs out, and the legs don't have to be straight. Keep the knees bent if you need to sit on a block, because I want you to feel like you can go forwards with a straight spine. So you don't want to go forwards with a rounded back. You want to move forwards with a nice straight spine. So whatever position you're starting in, we'll do the same inhale together. So breathing in, bringing the palms up, making this kind of cactus shape, which enables you to keep the shoulders relaxed and draw them back and really lift the breastbone, the sternum, and feel as if the shoulder blades are moving together behind you at the back, and the back is sinking between the shoulder blades. And then as you exhale, you're going to take the hands forward, and the hands are just supporting the spine there if you're in a chair, and you're gently coming forward. Last of all, tuck the chin in, and then when you're ready to breathe in, bring the head back to neutral, bring the spine flat, come all the way up. Breathing in, so this is our back bend, and breathing out, long, slow exhale into our forward bend. Showing you that from the side, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, this will be the last one. And this time, as we breathe out, we're just going to hold the forward bend. Particularly if you're in a chair, you can feel like you're pushing the pelvis back towards the chair, but also extending the spine away from the hips. This is going to create quite a lot of nice length in the lower back. And then on the next inhale, coming out with a nice straight back, bring the palms together in front of the heart. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, begin to rotate to the right, turning the shoulders and the head, and then release the hands down. Try and keep the shoulders relaxed and keep the spine upright, so you're maintaining the axis of the spine. And as you breathe in, thinking about that breath coming up, that full breath, it's a little bit restricted by the twisting movement. And the exhale is when you might feel a little more twist coming into your posture. And then as you breathe in, just turn the head, but keep the shoulders where they are. So now you've got the spine twisting in two directions. And then breathing in, bring the hands back to the center. Bring the hands in front of the heart, inhale nice and tall, and exhale, going round to the other side, around to the left, head and shoulders turning. Inhale, lengthening up, exhale, twisting to the left. And then on your next inhale, turning the head to look into the center of the room, leaving the shoulders where they are, spine twisting again in 2 directions. And then breathing in, coming back to center, and breathing out, just a little forward bend to counterpose the twist. And then we'll just finish this section with a little gentle back bend. So if you're on the mat, you can just lean back, turning the palms away from you, not stressing the wrists, and just lean back and open the chest. We're not going to do very much with the head. There's always a tendency to tilt the head back in back bends, but don't really want to work the neck strongly. You want to work the mid part of the back. So if you're in a chair, just either reaching the hands behind or maybe holding the sides of the chair, drawing the shoulders back, lifting the breastbone, and taking a couple of breaths here. So the chest is very open. There's lots of space for your breath, although these rib lifting muscles have probably already lifted the ribs as far as they can. So you're not going to feel a lot of movement in the rib cage. And then on an exhale, releasing away from that. So we're going to do a little bit of work using the chair as a prop. And it would be best of all just to use the back of the chair like this. And although not the whole of me is in shot now, I've got my knees bent, my feet are hip width apart. And this is the inhale position for a chair supported cat. And again, if you're on a yoga mat and you know the cat, you're doing this from all fours. And please do it with the knees padded and with the hands a little bit in front of the shoulders and not directly below. So breathing in, opening the spine, again, not doing too much with the neck, and then breathing out. You can let the legs straighten a little as you round the back and draw the tummy in. We're still doing the same long inhale and exhale. Every time you breathe in, make sure you remember to bend the knees. That will help you move the pelvis and find your back bend. And as you exhale, take the spine in the other direction. So the cat is an excellent way. It mobilizes more than 70 joints in one simple movement. And because if you're either on a yoga mat or holding the back of the chair and taking the spine out of gravity, it's a very safe place to mobilize your spine. And then we're just going to finish this cat with a little bit of a supported downward dog. And again, if you're an experienced yoga practitioner, you're working on a mat, you know how to do downward dog, please go ahead. But the downward dog I'm teaching today is one with the knees bent, and it's all about maintaining a long back and just feeling that there's a little bit of drawing in of the lower abdominal muscles and the breath is free and steady. And the advantage of using the chair here is that you can get a little bit more shoulder release. And if you have a look at my back, this is what we're aiming for. We're aiming for a nice flat back, almost as if someone could come and have afternoon tea on your back. You're forming a completely flat surface. And then breathing in, walking in. And we're going to do a little bit of a lunge now. Again, I apologise, I don't have a full film crew here in my living room, so the picture isn't completely full. So we're going to do a lunge using the chair. So you won't see all of me, but I'm going to take my right leg onto the chair. If I crouch down a bit, I don't really want you to do that. Stay a little bit more upright like this. So you have one foot on the chair. And if you're at all unsteady, please have the chair sideways so you can hold the side with one hand. And the back leg is hip width away from the front foot. And you're not turning out that back foot. So we want to stretch the front of this left thigh as we step this right leg onto the chair. And you can go a little bit deeper if you want to. Just make sure this knee doesn't go too far beyond the ankle. It can be over it or just behind it. And this pose, again, I'm leaning forward just so I'm in shot, but the more you stay upright the more stretch you'll get through the front of that left thigh, and that is lengthening some important muscles that are shortening at the moment, because everybody is stuck at home and doing a lot of sitting, and we do that anyway. So many people have short hip flexors. So coming off the chair, if you're working on a mat, of course you can do a lunge on the mat with the back leg, the knee on the mat and the foot step forward. Some of you may be doing that. Again, please pad the back knee and make sure you're not taking the knee beyond the ankle. So just a couple of breaths here. Again, staying as upright as you can to find that stretch. Very nice. And then releasing from that. And then we're going to do a little balance. So I'm just going to crouch down and explain the balance. If you need support for balancing, then use the side of the chair. And if you're not sure, use the side of the chair or be near a wall. And if you are not on a non-stick mat with no socks on, then make sure that you're on a surface where you're not going to slip over. Okay, so I'm afraid my head will disappear a little bit for a second. So holding the chair, I'm going to breathe in, and I'm just bending the right knee and coming up onto the toes of the right foot, and that's shifting the weight into the left foot. And as I exhale, the arm is coming down, and then inhaling, shifting, bending the other knee. Exhale, coming down. If you're not using the chair, you'll be doing that with two arms. Exhale down. And for those of you with good balance, you can begin to lift the foot completely off the floor. It's only for one breath. We're not lifting the leg particularly high. I like teaching these one breath balances. They're very inclusive, but they work exceptionally well on your balance. They also help you focus. So keep going with the balance. I've sat down just to come back into shot. Just do a few more, taking the arms out and exhaling, releasing the arms down. Either just bending alternate knees to shift the weight, that is also improving your balance, or lifting the foot completely off the mat. So in your own practice, if you're good at balances and you like to hold them, you can do this one and bring it into a held position, but we're not doing that this morning. It's not really our primary focus. So just finish the one you're on and then come back either to sitting cross-legged on your mat if you've been on the floor, or back into the chair. And we're going to finish our practice with a little bit more breathing, and we're just going to develop the breath we've been using the whole time this session. So with the hands resting in a comfortable position, allow your eyes to close, or take your eyes downcast, and let your breath steady. And take a moment to notice exactly how you're feeling. And then begin to come back into that full breath that we found at the beginning of the class. Breathing in, filling the lower thirds of the lungs. Not feeling with the hands now, just experiencing ourselves, the expansion of the lower ribs, the lifting of the mid ribs as the breath deepens, and the slight subtle lift of the top ribs, the collarbones, as you come to your comfortable fullest breath. And then the release, the softness, the flow of an effortless long exhale. And for this breathing practice, we're going to do two things. We're going to try to lengthen the exhale. So do the same inhale, all your effort is on inhale. That's when your muscles are working. And then as you let your exhale go, just let the breath flow out of the body, but keep it flowing at a slightly slower rate. And keep breathing out until you feel you have exhaled all of your breath, all the breath that you can exhale. Thinking about that exhale being a little bit longer than the inhale. And noticing the quality here of the out breath, how relaxing it is, how you can wash away tension in the body, in the mind, with your exhale. And then to this, one more thing is just to add in the visualization, which will help us support this long inhale and exhale. So from the next inhale, imagine that you're breathing that in-breath up from the ground, up through the soles of the feet if you're sitting in a chair, or up through the base of the pelvis and the thighs if you're sitting cross-legged on a mat. And you're breathing in right up to the crown of the head. And then that long exhale is taking the breath from the crown of the head, down the body, back down to the ground, through the hips or through the feet. And work with that visual image for the next 5 breaths. If your breath is really long and you're still doing your 5 breaths, don't be in any hurry to finish. And if you have finished, just sitting quietly for a moment with your eyes closed, noticing your connection to the ground, through the feet, through the hips. If you're on the mat, through the thighs. Noticing this feeling of solidity, of steadiness. And knowing that in these times, in these very difficult times, with the pandemic and all the social isolation and the unfamiliar rules that we are all following, that you can work on yourself, you can create some steadiness and ease within yourself. And that's not only going to help you, it's going to help everyone around you. So I thank you for doing this session with me.